Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Frieren. Last time around we had Aura the Guillotine, where basically, Frieren went to go fight Aura, who had her mystical spell that allowed her to control people and keep that control for so long that pretty much all was left was their armor. And Frieren was like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you now. And she hasn't done it yet, but she is working on it. Meanwhile, Fern and Stark were battling, Lugner? Or maybe it's like Lugnier, because they kind of said that, I noticed in the editing, but him and, girl, I don't know, pink hair, VTuber-ass looking girl, I don't know. Anyway, and Lugnier was like, oh, I'm so much better in every way. But this girl, she's just so freaking fast, I can't deal with that. And sure enough, Fern just outpaced him, basically, and was able to win. And while the other demon girl was mimicking the attacks of Eisen against Stark, she pretty much had no power behind it. She apparently skipped Arm Day. And so, while she did land some hits on Stark, he was able to defeat her in the end. So yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Frieren. Here we go. Okay, so I was a little wrong. I was a little wrong last time. I was wrong about Fern. I thought she was just fast. I thought she was just a fast, fit girl. Still is, technically. She still is, definitely. But also she has the mana suppression. She probably doesn't even realize she's doing this. But that's what she's doing. Stark, on the other hand, I was right about him. He's just fit. He's way fitter than that demon girl, so. What a fascinating thing. What a fascinating thing, you know? It very slightly reminds me of in Demon Slayer, where one of the whole things in Demon Slayer is using total concentration breathing, which, by doing that, you know, pumps so much oxygen into your blood, you know, and it raises your body temperature and your heartbeat and everything, and it gives you this superhuman strength to fight the demons, you know? And it's kind of a similar principle here of, you know, what the demons do, you also have to do, but do it better, you know? I mean, if anything, it's just sort of it's almost just a food chain almost, you know? The demons use human speech in order to hunt humans. Frieren and Flamma use mana suppression to hunt demons, you know? And I honestly, it's so fascinating that there are no ifs and or buts around it. The demons are horrible monsters, and they will be destroyed by Frieren, you know? Just like in these last like 3 or 4 episodes, it's just like, no, we're not gonna do this. You know, we're not gonna do this. You know, we're not going to give any leeway at all. Demons are awful, and we will destroy them. And it's interesting, you know. It's an interesting thing, but man, oh man. So an interesting thing they pointed out is Hyder also had a decent amount of mana. So, presumably he was also a mage of some variety, you know? Because that is actually something I've thought about. It's like, okay, you have Frieren as a mage, you have Himmel, the hero, and then you have Eisen, essentially the other hero, the other warrior, basically. The warrior hero, and then just the warrior, you know? I have thought recently, like, what did Hyder do on this journey, aside from drinking himself to an early nap, But I guess that's it. He must have been able to do some spells as well, I'm sure it's a thing of, like, a priest is aware of some magic, maybe specifically priestly magic, religious magic, but it's not enough to cover the mage part of the mage qualification, the mage role, basically. So they still needed Frieren, I don't know. But it's an interesting thing, But yeah, so it's just, that's just such a fascinating thing, And I mean, it really does just kind of boil down to, demons are beasts. They are animals, And what decides the leader of the pack is whoever's the strongest, As much as they try to blend in with humans, they're at the end of the day, they are just beasts. And so what an interesting thing that it's just no demon has ever thought of suppression outside of momentary stealth, because they cannot give up their status lest they be threatened by another demon, Now, I don't know, maybe in this series we'll have a demon that's more clever than that, but I don't know, it's just such a fascinating thing, That it's like I mean, it's their demon pride, which we've seen with Lugnir, that that's the whole thing with him, is he has such pride in his magic and everything that he can't see it, It's not until he's literally dying due to pretty much an impossible thing, How can Fern have beaten him when she has such low mana? And the only thing he can figure out in that moment is she must just have more mana than he does, She's just suppressing it, and he can't figure out why, But that's why, Frieren, she never faces something head on, I mean, even something we kind of saw that with Qual a little bit, where it's like, she didn't just go in and just kill him, She had a teachable lesson with Fern, and while Fern was distracting him, blocking his Zoltrak, she charged up and then she beat him, Like, that wasn't just a head-on, might makes right or anything like that. It was just, she got the job done. And that's such an interesting thing, especially coming from, like, especially coming from other shows. I mean, Dragon Ball's a good example, where it's like, Dragon Ball, literally a major plot point that happens multiple times is Goku will give his enemy a full heal in the middle of the battle, so that there's no advantage over the other, Like in the Cell games, he gives a Sensu Bean to Cell when he's about to fight Gohan. That way, it's a fair fight, So... But Frieren is just like, nah, no, don't do that. Like, she would just be like, no, let Gohan just wear him down. Like, to her, like, there'd be a thing of like, yeah, sure, eventually you may hit Super Saiyan 2, but if you don't, like, there's a plan to wear Cell down. There's so many of us that we could do it. That would have been her reasoning, to wear them down. And with that, it also makes sense, why Frieren doesn't do too much, Just the whole thing of, stay obscure, don't go out there and do so many crazy things. You have to be more obscure. Which makes it interesting that 80 years ago when she faced Aura, that she was doing these flashier moves, like they said last episode, But yeah, it's like, you need to stay more obscure. This is why, they've said it's like she could go and just save so many civilizations, basically, and save them from hordes and hordes of demons. She could do all of this, but she doesn't. If she comes into conflict with them, she will destroy a demon. But if not, like, she doesn't go looking for a fight, basically, you know? And that's why, she never went, in 1,000 years, she didn't go kill the Demon King until Himmel and the boys showed up, and they were like, hey, we want your help, we're going to try to defeat the Demon King. And Frieren was like, okay, then this is the opportunity that has presented itself, you know? But she wouldn't go look for a fight, you know? And then the whole thing with the flowers, you know? Flamma's favorite spell was just one that grows flowers, basically. Something she was taught by her parents when she was a little girl. And she passed that on to Frieren. And that, you know, just this small spell and other small spells, you know, eventually, 1,000 years later, just about, Himmel's like, man, this is really cool stuff that you can do. And that has given her hobby, her interest in finding these smaller spells, you know? Is there literally any use to a spell that just lets you look through someone's clothes? Not really, no. But that's what she likes. Just in this one episode, it's like, I completely understand everything about Frieren now, I feel like. I don't know, they might throw some more curveballs, but I don't know. Between that and how she deals with demons, you know? And that's just the thing, is that a demon would never normally think that someone is suppressing their mana, you know? And it does kind of feel like, you know, kind of almost like a Joseph Joestar kind of thing, you know? Like, that was the thing in JoJo, whereas in part 1, you had Jonathan, who goes in there with, you know, pride and gentlemanry, and he goes in and he tries to face something head on. Joseph never really faced something head on. And even if he did, he still had a lot of tricks. That boy was all about tricks, you know? And it's an interesting thing. It's like, well, if the demons are going to do this anyway, they're going to try to deceive you, and play, you know, not play fair, then you don't play fair, you know? If they're going to get in the mud to fight, you get in that mud and you fight, you know? And that kind of also is slightly in Dragon Ball as well. Like, you would have something of like Goku would say, a win is a win, you know, a knockout of an arena during a tournament is a win. So it's kind of like that, yeah. It's not like that's not there in Dragon Ball, but still. But yeah, but that's just such an interesting thing. Like, don't take it head on. Find the workarounds, you know? Don't spend all of your energy trying to do this task when you can find, like, basically, just literally find the easier route, you know? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with taking the easy way, you know? It accomplishes the goal, you know? And that's an interesting lesson to have from this show, you know? I mean, you could almost say it's a lesson of, you gotta take the easy road, the easiest road, the path of least resistance to get to your destination, because life is short. Which is ironic, because this is about Frieren, whose life isn't short, you know? Now, not that she doesn't put in the hard work, she has, but when it comes to battle, if there is an obstacle, you deal with it in the fastest, most efficient way possible, you know? And for them, that's not fighting a demon head on, you know? Like here, she deceived Aura into thinking that her mana was so low that instead of just sicking her entire army that's right behind her on Frieren, she used the scales. And because of that, she lost. Frieren gained control and then told her to kill herself in Minecraft. It was crazy. Just that moment though, when she says that was like a Lelouch moment right there, you know, when he uses Gios on someone. And it's such an interesting thing too, because it's like, you know, from the little flashbacks we've seen of Flamma so far, like, you wouldn't have suspected this. Like you almost expect Flamma to be this, like, you know, near angelic, incredible, virtuous master that Frieren had. And it's just like, now I guess she's human, you know? She wasn't this great goddess or anything. She was a human. She was just really friggin' powerful, you know? And I guess that's one thing is that, you know, demons are beasts that have, you know, figured out this way of deceiving. Though they don't understand it. I guess that's the difference between a demon and a human, is that a demon will do things to deceive someone, but they won't understand why they do it. They just know that they do it, you know? Like the demon that was like, you know, when Frieren asks, why do you call out to a mother you don't have? And she says, because that gets humans to stop, you know? Like, there's not actually a reason behind it. It's just, that's what we do, you know? So that's the thing. But with a human knows why they are deceiving someone, you know? Like, if anything, this episode almost paints this dark picture of humans, you know? Like, we are even more dangerous than demons, you know? We're even more dangerous than demons because we do exactly what demons do, but we do it better, you know? And that's such a fascinating thing to get from an episode where we get so much of Frieren's master, you know? We get so much of Flamma that it's just like, what the heck, you know? Like, Flamma is honestly just more dangerous than any demon. Except that she's not going to hunt humans, you know? That's the thing. I guess it's the thing of, you know, that kind of cunning. I guess it's what they say, we need to keep making a mockery, you know, so that other people can still properly make beautiful magic, you know? Like, that's the thing. Like, they go down in the dirt so other people don't have to. You know? They lower themselves to the demons and defeat them so that other people don't have to deal with it. But could you imagine a human that has that kind of power, that kind of ability, that kind of mana and mana suppression, that deceptiveness, and they're, you know, a psychopath? Like, that's just such an interesting thing, you know? Maybe the real enemy is man. Man. I mean, you could say, like, you know, when they were showing the flashback where they were, like, clearly in ancient Greece or something, which I like. I like that it's like, yeah, 1,000 years ago from this, like, medieval fantasy, it's like ancient Greek. It's like, oh, that's a nice, like, way of looking at, like, it's a nice design for the past. But, like, you know, that human who was, you know, rich, has all this status in the human world. It's like, okay, but what if, you know, he's clearly done things to get to that status, but what if he had this kind of magic, you know? What if the wrong person has this kind of magic other than a demon? What if the wrong human has that? And I'll be curious to see if we get into that or not, you know? Is there a human... This is turning into One Punch Man. Holy shit, it is. Yeah. This is turning into One Punch Man, like, with Garo, where it's like, here's a person, a human, but he is deadlier and more dangerous than the actual monsters, you know? Than the monsters that the heroes fight in One Punch Man. That's... Oh, man, are we gonna get a Garo arc in this? That would, you know what, that would be great if we got a Garo arc in this, because I'm pretty confident we're just never getting season 3 of One Punch Man at this point. So we might as well have some show pick that up. So I don't know. How fascinating. What a great episode. What a great, very thought-provoking episode. So yeah. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Frieren reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.